What the heck do I do if I did not get a 1099 form? Do I still have to pay taxes on the money I earned? What is up, everybody? My name is Tyra and welcome back to Keeper Tax, your one-stop shop for all things 1099 taxes. Here on this channel, we create resources for freelancers, independent contractors, gig workers, and anyone else who files or should be filing business taxes. There may be some cases where you did not receive a 1099 form for whatever reason, but does that mean you're off the hook for paying taxes? Let's get into it. What is a 1099? Before we jump into what to do if you didn't receive a 1099 form, first I have to make sure you guys know what this form actually is. A 1099 is an IRS form that reports income you've earned as a non-employee. This form is given to gig workers, freelancers, independent contractors, and self-employed people, hence the word non-employee. There are a bunch of different types of 1099s that cover all kinds of income situations, from selling your house to winning big in Vegas. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like a video diving into all of the different types of 1099 forms out there. Anywho, if you are a freelancer or self-employed person, the most important 1099 forms are the 1099-NEC and the 1099-K. The 1099-NEC form shows payments from independent contracting work. You will get one of these from your clients or any work platform that you're on if they paid you at least $600 directly. The 1099-K form shows payments made through credit cards and third-party payment services like PayPal and Venmo. Please guys, familiarize yourself with this form because the rules behind it just changed. Now, if you're making $600 or more on these third-party apps, you will need to pay taxes on that income. Before 2022, the threshold to require this form was $20,000, over 200 transactions. Anytime you get a 1099 form, the IRS also gets a copy, which means they know exactly how much you were paid and they'll be expecting you to pay taxes on that money. Now, what happens if I don't get a 1099? There are a slew of reasons why you may not receive a 1099. Maybe you made less than $600. They paid you cash. They didn't have the right address for you, so it got mailed somewhere else. Or they were supposed to send you one, but they straight up forgot. It could be a lot of different things. So you may be wondering, if I didn't receive this form, do I still need to pay taxes on that income? Yes. In literally all of those situations, you are supposed to report that income when you file your taxes. This is especially confusing for people who made less than $600 because your client isn't required to send you anything if you earn under $600. And a lot of people assume that that's the limit for being taxed. This is just not true, and as much as I wish it were, it just isn't. You still have to report your income and prepare to pay taxes even if you're making less than $600 per client. So let me give you guys an example to explain why it works like that. Let's say you're a freelance writer and you make on average $350 per article. You write about 4 of these articles a week because you're really on top of your stuff, which brings you up to $1,400 a week on average. Say you give yourself 1 week off a year, times 51 would be $71,400 gross income, which is pretty good if you ask me. Now, stay with me for a second. Let's pretend that every single one of those articles that you wrote was for a different publication or for a different client. None of them will be required to send you a 1099 because they pay you less than $600 every time. But that absolutely does not mean that the $70,000 plus you made is tax-free. Although that would be very, very nice. You still have to report it when you file your taxes. Even if you aren't making that much from your freelancing business, the same rule applies. You have to report it. You're supposed to report it even if you make like $500 in cash from babysitting your neighbor's kids. Let's say you underreported your income. You can get hit with a penalty of 20% for inaccuracy or as much as 75% for fraud. And both of those penalties can be applied at the same time, which I personally think is not worth the risk, okay? So now that we know you aren't receiving your 1099s and you are still going to pay taxes on that income, how do we go about it if we don't have the forms with all of the numbers? The first thing you could do is to be proactive before people even start sending out 1099s. Just fill out a W-9 form and send it to all of the clients you've worked with for the year. This is the form used to instruct your clients as to how to fill out your 1099, including which address and tax ID to use for it. But if it's already like February and you're waiting on the 1099 form that you know you were supposed to get, a W-9 probably isn't going to help you. Instead, just go ahead and report that income yourself. If you kept records of how much you earned, great. Otherwise, dig deep. Look at all your invoices that you sent or go through your bank account and see how much deposits you got from that client. Make sure you're doing the math right, because if your client shoots off a 1099 later, you want to make sure that you're not reporting less than what they have on record for paying you. The same goes if you were paid in cash. Keep track of all of your cash earnings. You will include this amount in your Schedule C, which shows your business income and business expenses. Enter that total amount within your gross receipts on line 1 of the form. And remember, this is where you enter the total amount you've earned, including any income you do have 1099s for as well. And here's a pro tip. Make sure the total you enter for gross receipts is at least as much as the total amount you have reported to the IRS on 1099s. Let me give you an example of how that works. So let's say you received 2 1099-NECs from freelancing clients. One of them reported $5,000 in non-employee compensation, while the other reported $1,000. Together, that's $6,000 in income that the IRS already knows about. Now, let's assume you also made some additional income that isn't reported on any 1099s, say $2,000 in cash from several smaller gigs. When you report your total self-employment income, you'll add that $2,000 to the $6,000. This gets you a gross income of $8,000. $8,000 is the amount that you will enter on your Schedule C. How to lower your tax bill. When you enter your cash earnings on your Schedule C, you might find yourself looking at the gross income like, this seems a little bit too high to be paying taxes on. Luckily, you won't have to pay taxes on all of it. You're only taxed on your net profit from self-employment. That means you get to subtract everything you spend on running your business or doing your contract work, from your home office to your cell phone. So, to lower your tax bill, make sure you are claiming your business write-offs. We have a ton of videos on the channel explaining possible write-offs for your business, so make sure you check those out. We have linked them below, and if you're looking for an easier way to keep track of all of your income and expenses, I recommend the Keeper Tax app, an app designed with freelancers and independent contractors in mind. Y'all, this app will automatically categorize your write-offs for you, making it super easy for you at tax time. If you'd like to get started, click the link in the description bar down below or go to www.keepertax.com. And with that being said, you guys, that is all that I have for you today. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned in today's video, as always, leave a comment down below. If you would like more easy to digest tax content, make sure that you give this video a like. And if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and make sure your notifications are on so you can get all of the alerts and stay up to date with all things self-employed taxes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.